Hello and welcome to Fat Cat Foods presents Cooking with the Canes. I'm Fonz, and today's recipe is the Schnellen Burger. We come to you today from our special set, the Mobile Tiki Bar. Now, to make a great Schnellen Burger and something that will bring all your friends to your tailgate for some delicious food, we're going to start with some lean ground beef. Right here, this is about one and a half pounds. It'll make us about 4 burgers. Now here's the trick. Once we go to use our ground beef, we have found a way to mix one of the Fat Cat Foods sauces directly in the ground beef. This way, the sauce will cook while the beef is cooking and give you that extra special flavor. Instead of putting it on top, it'll already be inside. Your friends will eat it and will not know what hit them. So first, we have here the ground beef. We're going to start seasoning it. We have here the Papaya Complete Seasoning, very delicious. Has oregano, garlic, some onion, and salt. Put that right on top right there. We'll mix this in a couple times to make sure the meat is thoroughly seasoned. We can use a little bit of salt, regular table salt, nothing too special. Just don't want to overdo it. I hate salty burgers. So right off the bat, we're going to mix this up real nice. And what I like to do is, as I'm mixing, since there's a lot of ground beef in here, mix it up. Once you don't see any more spices, throw some more complete seasoning in there. The reason why we've named it after him is he is the reason why the UM football team went from mediocre program to the stellar nationwide program that is today. He won the first national championship for the Canes in miraculous fashion. So in honor of Coach Howard Schnellenberger, we have named this recipe. Now, as you can see, we're going to add a little more seasoning. And now on to the secret recipe, secret ingredient. So for this one, what we like to use is right here, Papaya Pequin Passion sauce. Now you might be asking yourself, how can you add a sauce to the ground beef? That's not going to work. The ground beef is going to fall apart. Well, here's the trick. First off, this out of the way. We're going to take the sauce, add, for this much, we'll do a little bit more than half the bottle. That should be good, right about there. Here's the key. In order to get the sauce to stick and actually be able to make the patties without falling apart, we need to add original breadcrumbs, unseasoned. Now it's up to you. You can add Italian seasoning, whatever kind of breadcrumbs you want, but with this, it will absorb just enough sauce and give the meat enough consistency to be able to make the patties. So we'll start right about here. And this, it's a little bit give and take. You have to put it in there, mix it up, and see once the beef has enough consistency to make the patties. So see here, the sauce is still on one side. As we mix, we can actually, what you're looking for is, you want it to look consistent. In this case, it's still kind of broken up a little bit. So we're going to add a little more sauce, as much flavor as possible in there. And to add more sauce, a little bit more breadcrumbs, right on top. Now another way to do this, let's say I know my grandmother's meatball recipe. What she does, she adds breadcrumbs and cracks 1 egg into the meat. However, we know how we normally are at tailgates. Eggs normally get left behind. So you can either add an egg and a little less breadcrumbs, or add more breadcrumbs to compensate for not having the egg in the recipe. Of course, this is to each his own. We prefer not to put the egg in there. If we bring it a little bit closer, you can see now. See how the ground beef, it's not broken up. It looks more consistent, more smooth, if you will. That means we have just the right amount of sauce and breadcrumbs in there. So we're going to grab our plate here. Grab some of the meat and start making our patties. So what I like to do is get the patty going this way. I have a tendency to leave the middle a little too thick, so make sure that you pat it down just so. Because if the middle ends up too thick, then it could be very tough to cook it. Middle will stay on the raw side, the outside will get a little toasty. So make your patty, make sure to flatten it out. And there you go. You have the first step for the Schnellen Burger. Now, in order to complete the Schnellen Burger, there's 3 key steps. Number 1 is the prep of the meat, which you just saw here. Number 2, which you'll see in a moment, will be how we cook the burger on the barbecue. We have a little bit different technique to use for this specific recipe. And number 3 is how you assemble it. And let me tell you, it's going to be delicious. Now we have our grill preheated and we're ready to start cooking. So as you can see here, we've taken the burgers, we made 4 patties out of the 1.5 pound meat that we have. And remember, the secret ingredient of having the papaya sauce with the breadcrumbs. So now when we go to cook these bad boys, the sauce is cooking into the meat instead of simply putting it on top. So now let's throw them on the grill. And what we've done here, a lot of people like to cook their burgers on high. We do a little bit differently. Once it's preheated on high, then we turn it to low. We're going to cook the burgers over the flame and keep it on low. I like doing this because now that we have the sauce in there, first the sauce will help it to not dry out. And second, by keeping it on low, we keep the burgers nice and juicy. Now, if this is a gas grill, if you're using charcoal, what you can do is, when you go to light up the charcoal, you normally keep it in a pile in the middle of the grill. Well, if you're going to do it fast, open pit, you're going to spread out the coals. In this case, keep the charcoal in the pile in the middle of the grill. This way you can keep the burgers right on the outside around the charcoal in direct heat. This way you're cooking it on low on the charcoal. While these bad boys are going, now it's time for the toppings. Now, the Schnellen Burger, we have first orange and green peppers, of course. As you can see, we've cut a couple here in the shape of the U, as it should be. We're also going to add mushrooms on top. Now, these we like to cook them as well on the grill. And we have another little trick for doing that. Something that I like to call the aluminum foil boat. Now, if worst comes to worst, you forgot the aluminum foil, you forgot the oil, you can cook the peppers and the mushrooms directly on the grill. If you remember the aluminum foil, however, what you can do is take a sheet here and basically you want to build edges so that way nothing falls off, since we'll be pouring olive oil or butter into the boat. Another benefit is by having the peppers and the mushrooms inside our aluminum foil boat, it will not stick to the grill, because the peppers can get nice and juicy and crispy, but if you leave it too long, it sticks to the metal, no good. So here we go, we got our boat set up, basically have the edges lifted so nothing runs off. But right here on the grill, so what we've done here, we put it onto the side, and we're going to have this on a medium heat. On the charcoal grill, you can put this right over the pile of charcoal, because since we're dealing with vegetables this time, it's okay if it's a little bit higher than the burgers. So add our olive oil right there. And now for the peppers. Of course, we got our peppers right on there. Other orange and green. Can't have a Schnellen Burger without orange and green right on top. And something that I always enjoy on top of my burgers, mushrooms. What we have here are white sliced mushrooms. And the reason why we get the sliced ones, because it's easier to handle and to put on top of the burger when the time comes. I know some people who they have tried getting the mushroom caps, which you can cut them and put them on the burger. But at that point, it's to your own taste. Whatever you like to put on top of your burger. So now we have all this in here cooking. Make sure it doesn't stick. In this case, since we have a lot of mushrooms and peppers, I'm going to go ahead and add a little more olive oil right on top. Just like cooking on a stove. And what's going to happen here, since we are cooking on low, I like to do these burgers about 10 minutes on each side. Of course, what you want to do is, as you're cooking, you'll see a little bit of blood start floating to the top. Once that happens on one side of the burger, that means it's time to flip it. And you wait till the other side has a little bit of blood coming up as well. And this, at that point, you want to cook it to your taste. Do you like it more on the rare side or more on the well done side? Me personally, I'm a medium person. I know if I'm cooking for my sister, she wants it well done. So at that point, you can cook it as much or as little as you like. So again, 10 minutes on each side. Got the vegetables cooking over here. Now it's time to sit back, grab a drink, and let the grill do the work until it's time to prep the burgers. Alright, now our burgers have been on the grill for about 10 minutes. So we're going to give them the first and only flip. Now if you look, the burgers have kind of swelled up a little bit in the middle, if you will. Now look at this, very lightly, I'm going to push down on the burger. You can see the blood coming out from the ground beef. So again, remember, since we have the Fat Cat's food sauces in there as our secret ingredient, the blood isn't going to trickle to the top as well as you would normally see with regular ground beef. So now that you see the blood kind of flowing out, with the slightest touch from the spatula, that means it's ready. Ready to flip, that is. Just going to take this, flip it over, you see the bottom? Nice and well done. Looking good. Oh man, that's how you want to see it. And if, just in case your timing's a little bit off, you might flip it, see that it's still a little bit raw on the bottom, then you flip it back over and wait a couple more minutes. Come over here to the other side of the grill. You can see now that the mushrooms and the peppers, they've been cooking in that olive oil, and you can see the difference. They're starting to reduce and get nice and juicy, just the way we want them for on top of our burgers. Now another 10 minutes, a couple more drinks, and we'll be ready to assemble the burgers. Alright, now we've been cooking these burgers on this side for about 8 minutes. Now we're ready to assemble, which is the final piece, to make them delicious with all the toppings that we've been looking for. Now, what we've chosen are toppings that we feel are ideal to put on the burger, and best to be named the Schnellen Burger. Now, here's the first thing. First ingredient on top, nice slice of pineapple. See, I like to put it directly on the burger. I know some people who prefer to grill it to bring out the sweetness, but the cold pineapple on top of the hot burger gives you the best effect. Now once the pineapple's on there, and there's another reason why we like cooking on low, is because it gives us a chance to actually assemble the burger on the grill while it's still cooking. So first you do the pineapple, now we take the mushrooms, which have been cooked to perfection, nice and juicy, put them in the middle of the pineapple and all the way around. Now, as any Cane fan knows, the school colors, orange, green, and white, which a lot of people tend to forget about. So we're going to use some provolone cheese, Boarhead, delicious brands. We're going to take the cheese and use this to cover the pineapple and the mushroom completely. Right on top there. But we're not done. Now that we have the burger almost cooked to perfection, the pineapple, the mushroom, and the cheese, I'm going to throw the orange and green right on top. A little hot, so be careful. We got one side of the U, now we got the other. So we're going to leave that on there. It's going to take another minute or so, not even. Once the cheese is melted, because the burger was almost finished, it'll be time to throw this onto the bun. Now for us, we like using potato rolls. These things are delicious. Nice and fluffy, and go great with this juicy burger. So as you can see here, if you zoom in, you can see that the cheese is melted right over the mushrooms, ever so nicely. And the peppers are now sticking to the cheese. Now we're good to go. We're going to scoop the burger right on top. Oh yeah. And here, my friends, you have what we've deemed the Schnellen Burger. Delicious beef patty cooked with our Fat Cat's Foods papaya sauce right into the meat, our secret ingredient. Burger cooked to perfection on low, slice of pineapple, cooked mushrooms, and our UM peppers right on top. And we're only missing one more thing. Close it up and give it a bite.